And there's been some times where we thought, I don't know if this is going to work. And,
Yeah.
but it always has. It always has worked out.
Yep.
There's always been enough to get the job accomplished. And whether that be volunteers, whether it be resources, there's always been enough. This is the Every Third Saturday podcast, and it's a very special one because we are hitting our 10th anniversary as a nonprofit, and a lot has happened in the past 10 years. And even more so, we started in 2009, and a lot has happened since then. And so, Kayla has a lack of composure, as you can hear, but I'm with
Struggling.
Kayla McKenna Hawkins and Jesse McKenna. And the reason it's the three of us is because we've been through it from day one through today. Little gaps here and there, but generally we've been together through it, seen it all, done it all, and it's really been a wild ride. So we want to just go down memory lane and talk about some of the good moments, some of the tougher moments, and really give a little background on who we are and not what we do. We've done that episode before, but more of how we got to this point. And it all started with a conversation with one homeless veteran who needed underwear and socks, and we got that veteran taken care of. But it then proceeded to a conversation between Jesse and I about if there's one homeless veteran, then there's got to be more, and what do we do about that? And so our answer was to load up the kids, 3 kids, in the minivan. They were little then. They're still brats, but they're grown up now. When Kayla, Brendan, and Shannon, and we loaded up the minivan and the Ford Freestar, and started handing out backpacks to homeless veterans that we found all around the Twin Cities. And we had a little route that we would take and see if we could find anybody. And really, at that time, we didn't know that much about homeless veterans. I grew up in New York and was certainly aware of homelessness and seeing homeless people sleeping on the sidewalk or on subway grates or park benches, but the thing, putting together homeless with veteran, was something that I was not necessarily prepared for. So we did that. We handed out those backpacks, and then we met. What am I trying to say?
I'm not exactly sure.
Who's saying
It's
something?
what?
You guys are supposed to jump in and save me?
Well, all I could think of was like, yeah, we drove around in our minivan, but we handed out. I honestly don't remember the backpacks as much as I do like blankets and donuts and sometimes coffee. Like I remember that the one that really sticks, and I'm sure Kayla remembers it too. I'm sure you remember it too, Tom. Is when we had the blankets, and I think we had donuts, and there was a guy standing there, and he came up to the van, and we're like, do you want a blanket? And he's like, yeah, and oh, we have donuts and coffee. And then he took his blanket and went and sat by the fence, and then started to cry. And I remember Kayla started crying. That was like, I remember that. Like, it was just like, you're just watching someone be grateful for a blanket, like that's just what he needed right at that moment. And so that's all I was thinking about when you were starting our story.
Yeah. Well, no, that's a huge kind of thing in our story was. And Kayla, I'm wondering what your perspective on that was, just watching that unfold.
I think it was just like, I remember that happening. I don't like super remember what I was feeling in that moment, but like, you know, something so simple and easy for us to do is like everything for him. And I think that's like where that comes from. Like, I have 5 million blankets in my apartment right now. Like, you know, and that's nothing to me. Like, it's just a bunch of blankets. But to him, like, that's what, like you said, that's what he needed. Enough to, like, just break down in tears. And, like, that was everything. I don't remember a lot of the going out in the minivan. I remember a lot of like doing it in the VA parking lot and then in the old building, but I don't remember doing a lot of it like driving around.
It's because you were probably like on a Game Boy or something.
We didn't have
We didn't even have a Game Boy.
You're on something with a screen. But, so we were doing that, and then Jesse was in a Bible study and mentioned the quilts, correct?
I think, yeah, I mentioned just what we were doing. And someone said, hey, there's this group in Wisconsin. She told me all about what they do with the blankets and stuff. And I remember thinking like, okay, that's nice. But she said, there's this group in Wisconsin that, you know, they make these quilts. And I'll connect you guys and see what happens. That was a long time ago, so I don't remember all of the details. But
Yeah, and so we connected, and we had to go out to the middle of Wisconsin
yeah,
to
it's far.
a little church named St. Catherine's out in Owen, Wisconsin, and it was quite a ride. It was an investment of a day to go out there, and so we went to pick up quilts from these people who had them. They had been distributing them to people in Mexico, and that had become too dangerous because of some of the violence that was happening down there. So they had to find a new route for their quilts, and that new route, at least in part, was us. And
Yep. Yeah.
so
We have a picture of that day. If you ever come by ETS, we have that picture hanging in the entryway. So
is that the one where we look like little babies?
we look
Yeah.
like babies. Yeah. Yeah. We were. I mean, yeah.
17 years ago now, and
That's crazy.
yeah, that's crazy. And so it was down the basement where they had this sewing room set up where they were sewing the quilts, and they were really nice. They were heavy, and we went down, loaded them up. We loaded our minivan with the quilts, and just as we were leaving, a lady asked what we were doing with them, and we said we were going to distribute them to homeless veterans in the Twin Cities, and she started to cry. She started to tear up. And it was like, there's something I said? Or what is going on here? And she said, they're distributing them to homeless veterans. And then I said, are you familiar with the issue? And he said, we just watched something, it was on 60 Minutes last night about homeless veterans, and it just brought me to tears. And our whole family said we should do something about that. And then today here we are meeting you guys, and that was such a God moment in the whole evolution of Every Third Saturday. Probably the biggest of them all, and because that was Deb Marrier, and we met her, and we met her husband Scott, and their kids were involved, Daryl and Chauncey, and it was they were way ahead of us. They were building houses in Mexico. They were bringing blankets down. They were doing all kinds of stuff. They had something called the Hands Foundation, and they would play music to raise the funds to do what they were doing, and really talented musicians. And so it started a relationship that has only grown stronger, even to this day. Today we got a delivery from them. And it's just been completely crazy. They're nuts.
In a good way.
In a good way. They're always doing something to help somebody else. And so they have been such a blessing on our lives and on what we were doing that really catapulted everything forward. It got crazy, right? Our basement was full.
Yeah, they were collecting. They would put out bins and they're collecting items. They still do it. That's where that delivery that we got today, they still collect items for our, what we call our supply store. So they were collecting items. And they would bring them to our house, and they were in our basement, they were in our garage, just wherever we could fit them.
Yeah, and so we had to, we ended up having to go out and buy a trailer. So we didn't have any money. We were both working full time. We were trying to raise the three kids, and we didn't have any money, but we scraped together enough to buy an $800 enclosed trailer, 6x12. It had been hit by a deer.
It didn't hit a deer. It had been hit by a deer.
Correct.
Yes.
It's important, right? It had been hit by a deer. It was all dented in the front, but it worked.
Yep.
It didn't leak.
No.
And so we bought that trailer. We dragged it home with our old pickup truck, and I believe that was the red pickup truck.
I was just going to ask,
Yeah,
which
I don't
truck
even
was
remember. I think it probably was.
I think it was the red one.
The one that lost the muffler?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So I was going to an appointment at the VA hospital. Had no idea that my muffler was this close to falling off, but there's train tracks that run across the front of the hospital. I went across the tracks with this truck, and all of a sudden it was like boom, like an explosion, and the exhaust noise got so loud. I look in my rearview mirror, and there's my entire exhaust pipe laying on the train tracks. So I stopped, I got out, I threw it in the back of the truck, all pissed off, and went to my appointment, and we kept that truck for a
It
while.
was the
Yeah.
coolest truck ever.
Didn't fix the exhaust.
No, we never fixed the exhaust, and I used to go pick up Kayla at school, and if I left it running, the exhaust fumes were so much I couldn't even sit there. But if I turned it off, that meant I had to turn it back on. And when you started that truck with no exhaust pipe, it scared the heck out of some elementary school kids.
Scared many little children.
Yes, I believe it brought some to tears. So that was.
But I loved it. I thought it was so cool.
So that was the red truck, and we dragged that trailer around. We tried going to places in Minneapolis and St. Paul, right? We went to PV Plaza, which is in the middle of downtown Minneapolis, and we went over by the St. Paul Cathedral.
Yeah.
And we would see 2 or 3 veterans maybe.
We went down, I think it was when we were down by CRRC that one day is when Krista, if any of you know us, Krista, she is an ETS staff member now, but back then she was a volunteer.
Volunteer number 1.
Yep, and she came out and we stood in that trailer. It was cold that day. We stood in there waiting for veterans to show up. We might have had one, but I'm not sure.
If we did, it was by accident. And it was so cold. Just waiting there for hours for veterans that were not coming.
Yeah.
And we learned, that that's not necessarily how you can be effective in doing what we're doing. And it's a good memory. It was fun. And like you said, fast forward all these years, and now Krista is our Director of Growth and Marketing and on staff here at ETS. And, she still complains about what we did to her that day. Can her sit in that trailer, freezing our asses off.
Lucky she ever came back.
That's right. And And so, so we finally figured out that like moving around to different spots was not the ticket. That was not how it was going to work. We were trying to distribute not only quilts but clothing, coats, gloves, hats, all this stuff, and we finally decided let's try the VA parking lot in Minneapolis. You know, why not? They had a huge overflow lot that was, you know, I don't know how far away from the actual hospital it is, but it's far.
It's a little ways.
Every
yeah.
time I drive by it, I think about how awful it would be to have to park there all the way out there in the winter and walk in.
Mm-hmm. We walked in there a couple times to use the restroom. I remember that. It was
Yeah.
a long walk.
It was a hike.
Yeah.
And we were out there in the overflow lot and doing our thing, and it wasn't too long. We had the trailer, we had the red truck, we had the trailer. Might have been the green truck by then. And then we set up card tables.
Yeah, tables and totes.
Right, and the veterans would kind of almost dig through the totes, like, and realize it's kind of undignified. Like, it's hard to find what you want, what you need, and so we evolved. We started to fold things, put them in sizes, lay them out on the tables differently, and I think the veterans responded positively to. It was more dignified. It was more
Yeah.
respectful.
But it's challenging, say in the winter. It's freezing cold. You're
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to get all this stuff out on the table.
Oh yeah, it was an operation, and it would probably take, I don't know, some Saturdays we had 10 or 12 people out there.
Sometimes we get there and there were people waiting
Yes, yep.
already.
And so we were out there for like 6 years, never missed third Saturday. It was the one that was 18 below zero that we didn't do that one because it wasn't safe.
Yeah.
But we went just to make sure no one showed up. So we were doing that. We were doing that for a little while. I don't remember how long. And then the director of the hospital changed. The one retired, and a new director came in. And all of a sudden, the VA police came out and said, "You guys can't be doing this. This is VA property. You can't be using the property like this. This is a liability." And so that was a fight. It took us a good 3 months before we were able to use the property again. But they never bugged us after that. You know, the VA police, they would come out and they'd talk to us and talk to the veterans and maybe steal a cup of coffee or something. And then Salvation Army
Yeah.
brought out their canteen truck and started to serve lunch.
Because we were making hot dogs on the grill, on a tiny grill that was very hard to light in the middle of winter.
And I don't remember if I actually threw it or I just thought about throwing it.
I don't remember. Yeah, so that means you probably didn't.
Yeah.
I think we would have remembered
It would
that.
not light, especially when it was windy,
Yeah.
and there was veterans waiting, and you can only get like 8 hot dogs on there.
Yeah, it was small,
anyway.
small camping grill.
And so that was a welcome thing when the Salvation Army started bringing their truck out there to
Yes, that was really
serve lunch,
nice.
and kind of their mobile kitchen. So that was good, and it really added to things. I think it gave it a more social atmosphere,
Yeah.
and it became a lot more fun that way. And our offerings continued to evolve. You know, we'd have booths and different things like that. So I can remember being so impressed, even though I was already madly in love with you.
Oh boy.
I was so impressed. You gave away your gloves one day.
Oh
It
yeah.
was freezing.
Yeah, and we didn't have any.
We didn't have any gloves, and this veteran really needed them. And you took off yours and handed it to him. And that was really a cool moment. But there's a microcosm of who we wanted to be and how we wanted to do it, like veteran first. And you know, I think you sat in the car the rest of the time with the heat on.
I did not.
So it was all a ploy just to go sit in the car. But So we did that with the card tables, and then we had this idea of a better way to do it.
Wait, he says we. Tom had this idea.
So we had a little table at a flea market. Do you remember the flea
I
market?
do remember, it was at Buck Hill.
It was at Buck Hill, skiing.
We went every weekend.
Yeah, we went up every weekend trying to let people know who we are and what we're doing. And I got this idea that what if we could get a school bus and the veterans could come in the front door, go through and shop for their items, and go out the back door. And it would be like this cool little system that everyone could stay warm and we could still accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. And so the Marriers, the aforementioned Marriers, we got a few bites on the school bus thing, but never anything serious. But they heard about it, and so they, with their huge heart and resources, they bought a 1984 Pace Arrow 29-foot RV,
Yeah.
brown.
It was an old RV.
It was old.
Yeah. There is also, I think, a news article hanging in our entryway about that because they had purchased it with the help of others, right?
Right.
And then we didn't know it, and we were invited to Wisconsin, and then they were like, "Hey."
That's right. They surprised us with the
Yeah.
RV, and and so the RV was kind of a little bit of a dark time in our history.
I don't know. I had sleepovers in it. It was great.
Oh yeah. Well, it was parked in our one-car driveway,
Driveway.
two-car driveway, single car garage, right? So you could get two cars in that driveway or a barely large SUV. RV.
Right.
I'm not sure if it actually fit.
Didn't we park it in the rocks?
We did in the winter. I know because my car got stuck on some ice in the driveway,
Oh, yeah.
slid into it, and busted my mirror off.
That's
I
right.
forgot about
Yes.
That's right. So we got this little house with this little driveway, and this huge RV is parked in the driveway. And, we had a cover on it, thinking we were so official. When we tried to use it, that's when the trouble came in.
Yeah.
So what was the first? Well, first off, we had to find a place to store it. We couldn't
We
keep it in
did.
our driveway.
Yeah.
I don't know if the city got on us or we just decided it wasn't a good idea, or maybe it was after your car got broken.
Maybe.
But
I don't remember.
we had to move it. So we found this lot about, I don't know, 10 miles south of our house. It was just a grassy field.
Yeah, it was just someone's like land.
Right,
You know, and they were obviously letting other people park there too.
Right, so they were making a couple bucks off of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we were paying $50 a month or something. But anyway, we went to go park it. We didn't exactly know where we were going, and I made a left turn in this RV into someone's dirt road driveway.
Oh yeah. I think
And as soon as I made this left turn, I realized, oh no, what have I done?
well, there was snow on the
Yeah, it
ground
was-
too.
It was snowing, and all I see ahead of me is a house. Oh crap, this is not good. I had a background of driving tractor trailers and stuff. Like I knew when a situation was not going to go well, and this was certainly one of them. And so I did my best. I tried to back up off the driveway onto these people's lawn and turn around so I'd go back down the driveway and exit. But it got stuck in these people's lawn. Just wheels are spinning. No matter what we did, we could not get it out of there. I nearly had a panic attack. I may have had a panic attack.
Kayla says
I
yes.
think you did.
I think I did.
I think you got out of the RV and fell to your
You
knees.
dropped to your knees.
Yeah.
I didn't know what we were going to
Yeah.
do. We were on
Yeah.
these people's lawn with our RV,
Yeah.
having no idea what to do. And so, but we had a Jeep Grand Cherokee at
Yep.
the time, and you were behind
I was
me.
following you. Yep.
And so finally, we called the guy who we were renting the spot from, and he had chains.
Yeah, something. Like a toe strap or chains. I don't remember. But
He said, I have chains, but I don't have anything to pull you out with. And the light bulb went on.
Yeah.
I said, oh, well, we have a four-wheel drive. And so we hooked up the chains to the Jeep, and it pulled it right
Wouldn't
out
you
of there
know
like
it?
it was nothing.
It pulled that thing out of there.
Yep, this huge RV.
I was very impressed.
And I think we left a note for those people.
We did.
That we tore up their lawn, and they never called.
No.
And they never bothered. That was before like Ring cameras and stuff. If they had a Ring camera, they probably would have got a huge laugh out of it. We weren't laughing. I wasn't laughing, that's for sure.
We would ask for the video now.
Yeah,
Right?
that would be classic.
Yeah.
So, but the fuel gauge didn't work. So one time we ran out of gas.
We ran out of gas in the winter. All of this is in the winter. Half the time in the winter, it wouldn't start.
That's
So it would be like, is it going to start today? We have to drive down there, see if it starts. If it doesn't, then at one point we had a flyer that had a picture of the RV, and it said, if you don't see this, then look for this with the picture of our little trailer. Because we knew that a lot of the time we were going to show up in something different. So if someone was looking for us, they needed to know. But it was in the winter. We ran out of gas. I don't remember, how did we get to the gas station? Did we walk?
I think we walked,
Oh.
bought a gas can,
I think I blocked it out.
trying to pour gas into this thing.
It's spilling all over.
It was turning our hands white.
Oh, it hurt so bad.
Stung like a son of a gun.
Yeah.
And it was so bad. And it
was rough.
was really disheartening. And then
Yeah.
another time we got it started, it was running, and the front brakes just completely seized up.
Oh, yeah.
And we just couldn't move. So we had to get that fixed. And I think that was probably when we decided this wasn't going to work.
It wasn't, yeah. It was a great idea, and we were so grateful for, the generosity of people to help us, bring this idea to life. But that RV just wasn't what everyone thought it would be. I don't think, like, no one could have predicted that. No one could have said, oh, yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
Right. So we ended up getting rid of the RV, kind of gave it back to the Marriers, and I think they sold it, or returned it to whoever had given it to them. Not given it, they had paid good money for the thing. And that was towards the end of our time in the parking lot. We started to get some crowds.
Yeah.
30, 40
Yep.
veterans out there, and again, the VA police were very good. They said, as long as you keep it clean and we have no problems, then you guys can be here. And we did our thing, and I think veterans look forward to it.
Yeah. It was good, and the Marriers, they would come out there with their trailer too on the third Saturday,
That's
and
right.
sometimes they brought boots. They're the ones who got us started on our new boot November, if anyone knows what that is. But they
Everyone
they
knows
were
what
the
that
ones
is.
who started that. And like the blaze orange coats, remember those?
Yeah,
Like-
that they got from Shields.
yeah, and so I think, it started to, people started to talk, right? Like veterans started to talk.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and then and so that was towards the end of the time there in the parking lot, and then it was not only cold, but it would be, you know, it could be raining or it could be really hot. And I remember we'd start to pull in the parking lot and there'd be veterans like trying to guide us underneath trees and crap. Like, it's so hot, we want to be in the shade. And it was like, no, that's not how we're doing it. And so it was hot sometimes. And we had veterans that volunteered with us in air quotes so they could get more stuff. Daryl, you remember Daryl? I don't think he listens to this podcast. So.
I do remember. He did bring hot chocolate, so.
True.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So then that was around 2016, and we were growing, and I had a change at work, and kind of had an opportunity, almost a crossroads, to say like, and are we going to do this full time, or are we just going to keep doing it this way, you know, on the third Saturday of every month? And we made the decision to do it full time. And so we started looking for rental spaces. We looked all over the place, and lucky we didn't get any of them because they would have been like disasters. We didn't realize at the time how important the location was.
Right.
And so I was driving from the VA hospital actually down the street about 4 blocks, and I saw a little sign in the front window that said for rent. And I was like, I think this space is too small for us. You know, but it looked tiny, and it was just a little storefront. But we called, and we met with the landlord, and what?
You keep saying we. If I recall correctly, I was like, why don't you just meet with veterans one-on-one at like a Caribou or something? Like, that's how you can start. And then you tell me you found a space and I should come check it out. That's how that went. But it all worked out, so continue.
Yeah, so we found this little space in a little old strip mall, and we rented it. We took it, and we got some help from the Marriotts to cover the rent, and it was pretty cool. We had our own little space, where we, you know, the roof over our heads and 4 walls. But we set the clothing distribution up in the back room.
It was so small. We have pictures of that too.
It was tiny.
It was tiny.
I mean, like a closet.
It was so tiny. We made it. I mean, we got creative.
Yeah, we
Kind of
built-
made it work.
Had those shelves.
We found cubbies online and mounted them to the wall, and all that stuff, and yeah, we made it work, and we like 1 at a time, 2 at a time.
Yeah.
But and we just took veterans by appointment during the week. I would sit there, and me and Mac would just sometimes take a nap. It was like there was nothing going on. It was like the third Saturdays were well attended, but as far as anything else going on during the week, it was like
Dead.
the sign said by appointment. So we did that. You know, Mac got well known.
Yeah.
He used to sit up in the front window. There was a window
the
ledge.
big window. Yeah.
And he would just sit there or lie there, and his head was so huge, and some people were terrified of him, and other people thought he was so cute. But
There were people who thought he wasn't real.
Yeah,
Like he would lay
statue.
there still, and sometimes they would come in or they'd be like looking at him. Like, I just had to. Is that a real dog? Yeah,
that's right.
that's a real dog.
I'm sure there's a picture of him in the window
I'm
somewhere.
sure. Yes.
I have
Insert in the video.
Yeah.
Yep, I have one.
Yep. Yeah, Kayla, you can just insert all
Yeah,
these pictures
yeah.
I'm talking about. Ah, see?
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, it makes it more fun when you can actually see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we just had Mac, and then Jessie would come over after she was done with work, and sometimes we'd sit outside in the sun and in a couple of chairs and just hang out. And
Yep.
I don't know, we were just trying to make it work.
Yeah, we were just starting.
Yeah, we were just starting. It was brand new, and so then we realized that the backspace that we were using for the clothing was too small. We would bring in veterans on the third Saturday, about 30 veterans maybe.
Yeah.
And so we realized it was too small. And we had, in the lease, we had right of first refusal. So if a space in the strip mall came open, we had the first dibs on renting that space. And so we were moving in. Actually, no, we had rented Rick's.
Yeah, Rick's was the first additional space that
That's
we
right.
rented.
Place.
Rick's Place,
Rick's Place.
yes.
Donation-based coffee shop.
That's right. And the vision was veterans could come in and get a cup of coffee and throw $1 in the bucket, and or not,
Or not,
or
right.
whatever, and just connect with each other and have a place to hang out. And it kind of worked.
Yeah.
We had some regulars.
Originally, our vision was to make it a full-service coffee shop, but when we realized what that would entail, we were like, oh no, we can't do that right now.
No,
So,
no, that would have been crazy. So we just had a couple of air pots with coffee we would brew every morning and dump half of it out at night. And, but for the veterans that came in, it was good. And through there, we also met Ronnie. Ronnie started doing art on Wednesdays, and Ronnie is a retired art teacher. She is nuts. The lady's crazy
again, in a good way.
in a good way.
We love Ronnie.
And she's still with us to this day, doing art on Wednesdays, and so sometimes I just sit with Ronnie and just talk. Like I said, she's nuts. You don't know what's going to come out of her mouth. So, it was fun to talk to her and just kind of shoot the shit a little bit. And so, but then we were moving into Rick's. We were building like a counter.
Oh yeah.
We had wood. We had taken wood flooring and stripped off the top layer of it,
Yeah.
and then painted
And then
it.
stained it.
Stained it.
Stained it different colors. And we actually had the same on our countertops
was
at home
really
for a
Yes.
long
cool.
time.
And a friend of ours who was a pipe fitter had made us the legs and the frames for these counters out of old industrial pipe, and they came out pretty cool.
Yeah.
They were fun, and so that worked. But we had, when we were planing the tops off of all these flooring pieces, we had sawdust all over the place. It was really bad. That was a bad deal. I don't think I thought that one through, but that's kind of how I roll. So just get a planer and just make the top come off. When we were moving into that space, and the landlord came in and said, "Hey, people are moving out of the corner space. You have right of first refusal. Do you want it?" And I'm pretty sure right on the spot we said yes.
Yeah.
We said yes, we want it. And there was another. Now we're up to 3 spaces, and the rent that comes with it, and all that stuff. But it was a leap of faith, and that space was way bigger and way more open, and so we were able to set up all the clothing and supplies in there, and it was pretty cool. That worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Had a green wood floor,
Yeah.
totally creepy basement.
Super
Yes.
creepy.
The basements there were interesting.
Doors going into other
Other
basements,
spaces,
and
yeah.
Some were locked, some weren't. It was chaos a little bit, but so we used to have the veterans come into Rick's to the donation-based coffee space. We had tables and chairs and stuff. We had got them from the Macy's downtown Minneapolis.
Thought about that.
Oh man, that was a
That
nightmare.
was such a pain.
I ran down to that
Oh,
Macy's.
my goodness.
It was closing, and they were liquidating everything, the fixtures and everything. And I must have run down there 5, 6 times with a trailer and bought racks and tables
Yeah.
and chairs.
Those tables
Those
were
tables
heavy.
were so heavy.
Yes, they were the real deal. They were from the cafe at the old Macy's store, and we painted them and
Yep.
repainted the chairs. And so the veterans would come in and sit, but as we grew, it would get so crowded in there.
Yeah, on the third Saturday when we were
Yes.
doing our distribution.
It would get nuts. We'd start to get 50 and then 60 and then more. And so they would come in, we would take their name, sign them in, and then like 2, 3, maybe 4 at a time. Right?
Yeah, it depended on how many volunteers we had.
Yeah. They would go over to the other space. So they'd have to go out the back of Rick's into the back of the other space through the dirt parking lot.
Yeah.
And so and it would get tense at times. It would take a long time. And
Yeah, it took a long time.
Salvation Army was still serving lunch. God
Yep.
bless them. They were still doing it. And but it was like veterans being, where am I on the list? I was before that guy. No, I'm after that guy. It was always, and I used to bring Mac, and Mac was my service dog, and it was crazy. And that dog
Yeah.
just laid there and let it all go by. He was pretty cool when it came to that. He didn't get agitated. He didn't get annoyed. And so he was pretty cool there in those situations. But he passed away. It'll be 3 years next month. So so we still miss that guy. But anyway, yeah, we'd call names and it'd go over in groups of 3 or 4. Go over to the store. Then someone would come over and signal like with their fingers, like 4 more, 5 more, whatever. And we tried walkie-talkies. That didn't work.
Nope.
Don't know why.
Still doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes they work, but
So it was a fun time. You know, it was kind of crazy. The third Saturday, we had pictures of the line going down the street and around the block, and it became something veterans were really into. And so that was fun. Yeah. You guys are not adding that much.
well, you're doing such a good job.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do we have to add, Kayla?
I don't know. Just chaos. When we only did the supply distribution on the third Saturday.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was a little crazy. It would take us the entire time, you know, the entire 2 hours. Were we doing it for 2 hours
Yeah,
back
for
then?
2 hours, and we'd be just finishing up.
Yeah, we always made it in time. Like, we almost never went over time, but it would take us the entire time to work through the crowd.
Yep.
So,
And then, so we were doing that. We were doing fine. And then the building we were renting the spaces in, we were told it was going to go up for sale. And so we talked to supporters and said, would you help us buy it? And they said yes. And so we put in what was a pretty good bid for the building, and we got outbid. And then we put in another bid, and then we got outbid again. And it became apparent that we were not going to get the property. And so right across the street was Southside Auto. And Southside Auto was an old service station that had gas pumps and everything in the 60s. But now it was just being used. He would repair and refurbish 1960s era Impalas. And so every once in a while, a really awesome Chevy Impala would pull up at his place. It was cool to see, but he was a really nice guy. He was a man of faith, and but he was ready to move out to a farm he had bought, and had a big workshop out there where he didn't need the building anymore. And so for about 25% less than what we were bidding on our property, he was willing to sell his. And so we did it. We actually bought it. And that was a huge leap. And we had all kinds of plans for that. We messed around with storage containers and what were we going to do. It was a 2,400 square foot building, and inside it had garage doors because it was an auto shop, had rings coming out of the concrete floor because they would use those to pull frames straight, and it had a lift in it, and it was old.
It was old and it was small.
And
We were gonna make it work, though. I don't know what we were thinking.
I don't
but
know either.
We were like, yep, it'll work.
so we had plans for it, and we were trying to, but it needed refurb. It needed to be gutted on the inside. It needed a new roof. It turns out it needed new walls, new windows.
Yeah.
And so we got some of that done. We actually gutted the inside, laid in-floor heating, concreted over that. So we had a fully heated concrete floor.
Yep.
We had
New windows.
New windows that were donated and installed. We were working on the roof, but it just was not working, and
Yeah.
we were having a hard time with it. And it just so happens that was 2019, and the Star Tribune wrote an article on us that hit the front page of the Sunday paper on Veterans Day, and a lot of people saw that article, and we got a lot of emails and phone calls, and one of those phone calls was from a very a wealthy, generous individual who wanted to know what we were doing, and we went down to his office in Lakeville and sat down and explained what we were doing, and they explained what they do, and he kind of said, I think we can make something of this. And so he had an engineer come up from his company and look at the place, and the engineer was literally in the building for 10 seconds. Said, nope, this is never going to fly. This is condemnable, this building. And he knew because the support posts were all cracked. And so that's why the roof was the way it was, and we couldn't figure out the roof and all that stuff. So he got his report back from his engineer. We sat down again, and he said, I think we can build you something really nice. And we were like, build us something? Like, what are you talking about? And he was dead serious. He set in motion the wheels to sit us down with an architect, and we designed like what we thought would be a cool building, and he said, okay, let's do it. And all of a sudden the old building was gone. Tons of dirt had to come out of the lot because of the fuel tanks that had been here. That was a wreck. But remember, there was 3 sheds behind the building.
Yeah. We just came across one of those pictures too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one of them was an ice house where they'd actually make ice
Yes, that's right.
in the 60s to sell at the service station. And so all that went, we got a picture of one of our longtime volunteers standing in front of the open lot with his arms spread to say, here we go. And here we went. And it took 2 years. It was kind of COVID time.
Yeah, it was COVID time.
It was?
Because 2019, and then bam. So.
And so I'm not afraid to say it on this recording, the city of Minneapolis was terrible.
It was a challenge.
They were a huge challenge to deal with, but we got through it. And here we are now in our beautiful new home, 3.5 years now.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's flying by for sure.
And so we went from just me taking naps with the dog to now 7 paid staff, and we have even more staff members on the coffee shop side.
We have interns.
Yep.
Forgot to mention that we now have a full service
Yes, we
coffee
do.
shop called Rick's Coffee Bar, and it's connected to our building, and so it's been crazy, and
Yeah.
you guys have been along for every sometimes painful, sometimes joyous moment of it.
Yeah.
And there's been some times where we thought, I don't know if this is going to work, and
Yeah.
but it always has. It always has worked out, and
Yep.
there's always been enough to get the job accomplished, and whether that be volunteers, whether it be resources, there's always been enough. And so I don't know where that old RV is now.
Track it down.
But hopefully if she's still out there, she's doing good for somebody.
Right.
Not stuck in someone's yard in the snow.
Right. Yeah.
Making a grown man cry. So, I don't know, any other memories you guys have?
What about back in the old supply store? We would get donations, so we get these trailer loads from the Marriers, and we didn't have as many volunteers back then. And so guess who got to sort those?
Which I loved every second of it.
Like just these big piles of boxes and bags, like so much stuff. And then Kayla would sort it and organize it all before our third Saturday.
Well, and I remember it like right before we had to move out of that building, I had finally gotten the creepy basement organized. Like
Some of it. Right.
Yeah, like on the right side. The left
Yeah.
side I don't think we touched.
No, it was a nightmare.
But where the shelves down there, they built the shelves.
They built the shelves, yep.
And so then I would work, and if I had time, in the basement to like organize and put things in bins and label the shelves, and then we had to move.
Yeah. Well, if you ask any of our volunteers that helped us over in the old building, if you ask them about the basement, they'd be like, oh, that basement.
It always
It's
made
just-
me so nervous. Anyone else going up or down those stairs?
Yeah,
It's
those
like,
were
this is
questionable.
A lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah. It was a rough time. And the basement was our storage, so it was like, but it wasn't just our storage. So the people who owned the building at the time, they had stuff in the basements too, whether it be like building material or
Old
whatever.
doors and windows.
All kinds of stuff. So there was stuff we didn't even know like what it was, or there was a shower head in the basement. Remember, like it's just a shower head on a
On a post. Yep.
in the middle of the basement.
Yep.
Like what? And I think there was an old bar of soap there still too. It was
I
like,
don't
what
think-
is this?
I don't think we ever asked who might be taking a shower.
No,
down there.
why
Like,
is
we
it
just-
there?
It's some questions you just don't want. You don't
It's
want
so
the answer
weird.
to.
No.
Yeah. I could never make sense of that one.
Well, and the bathroom down there didn't have the
There was a
light.
bathroom,
The light
yeah.
didn't work. And I remember like I would only use it in emergencies if like people were in the bathroom upstairs, and I had to like turn my flashlight on, and
Yeah.
then I was worried there were spiders like it was just
Well, because that's the other thing, right? So we had connected to each other, right? Doors passing through. We had the supply store, which was on the end, and then our offices in the main entry to ETS. And then you go through another door, and it brings you to the back of Rick's place. But for all three of those spaces, there's one
bathroom.
usable bathroom.
Right.
One.
and it was the one connected to Rick's place.
Yeah, it was in Rick's place. So.
With the really low toilet.
Yeah, like a child's toilet.
And veterans would complain about the
Yeah.
height of the toilet. And
Yeah.
we tell the landlord, like, the toilet's really low, you know. And she'd say, "Oh, you can change it if you'd like. Like, have at it." I'm like, no, that's not why we were telling you.
Yeah. It had character,
Yeah.
for sure. It just had a lot of character.
Yeah, and that is for sure. And we added some more to it. And remember, I locked us out of the office space from Rick's, or maybe I was by myself that day.
No. Who was there, though, that tried to get the door off? Who was that?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
And I ended up breaking the door down.
Oh, yeah, that was just one time,
Yes.
actually. It happened multiple times.
Well, and how
Because
many?
I was there once, but I wasn't there the day you broke that panel. It was like the bottom panel or something.
Is that why that was broken?
Yeah,
Yeah.
broke the door frame
Yeah.
and part of the drywall.
But we did it one other time, and someone was like, "We'll just take it off the hinges."
I don't know who that would have
that
been.
was. Dang it! Wow, my memory is. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, how many times did Matt get out? Like he ran out
I
the back
think he
door.
only
of
got
Rick's
out that one
place.
time, John.
Yeah, John let him out.
All of a sudden, he was gone.
Mac was a great service dog, but he was a flight risk.
Well, because
He
we
wasn't
had
on
the
it.
gate, and we were always really careful to make sure
Yeah.
the gate was shut at the front door and to keep the doors from
went
the
out the
offices
back.
to Rick's
Yeah.
shut.
He went out the back. I think that's
Flying
when we were
down
getting
the
ready to move over here. Yeah. Yeah. It was never a dull moment. Like, we can still say that.
Yeah.
The building might be new, but still.
The moments keep on coming.
Yeah.
So 10 years from now, we'll be telling different stories.
Well, and we did Float Friday, or we tried to do
Oh,
Float Fridays.
Yep.
Yep. We tried to drive some traffic to Rick's place.
That's right.
It's like $2 floats or something.
We had pop cups.
But yeah, we had the dog ice cream.
Yeah. Yep. Oh,
Good
yeah.
times.
Good times.
Bring that back. See how that goes.
Yeah. Are you going to work on Friday evenings during the summer?
No.
So, yeah, so that's kind of it's a throwback to how it all kind of came about, and less what we were doing and more in like how the sausage was made. It's pretty ugly at times, but beautiful in retrospect. You know, really cool. And you know, you think like, I don't know, I don't want to speak too highly of us, but if you look at us today, you think like we're fairly polished. We got our crap together, and we're doing good things for a lot of people. But you wouldn't think that we started that simply and that like
Sure.
that with that level of difficulty. Sometimes like that RV almost killed me. So it was all good times, and I'm glad you guys were along for the ride. And I know I couldn't have done it without both of you. And all the other good people that have come along, the Marriers, you know, are just awesome people and still support us.
Yeah.
And it's just fantastic. So here we are, and yeah, I hope people enjoyed hearing a little bit about how it came about, and I think that's all we got.
All right.
Yep.
See you in 10 years.